HersheyPark has finally announced the plan for Wildcat, their now closed GCI wooden roller coaster. After some big teases from both the park and Rocky Mountain Construction, it's been revealed that the coaster will be getting the Iron Horse Hybrid makeover. It's expected to open its gates in the summer of 2023. So let's talk about Wildcat's revenge. So let's start with the name first. Obviously, I'm a little disappointed it isn't candy themed. I really had my hopes up for a Kit Kat name, but Wildcat's Revenge plays homage to the original, and like Phantom's Revenge in the same state, should help some people understand who aren't in the coaster community that it's not the original, but it's not something completely brand new and separate either. Now for the stats that Hershey has revealed: 140 feet tall, 4 inversions, 82-degree drop, and 62 miles per hour over 3,510 feet of glossy new iBox track. Now the record that it's touting is the world's largest underflip inversion, which is like a rising barrel roll, and we've seen on 5 other coasters. Now, we don't have a full layout or a full POV, we just have the snapshot at the end of the reveal, but we should be getting more information soon. So all in all, RMC is adding 34 feet of height, 330 feet of track length, and an extra 12 miles per hour to this ride. Now obviously this will be a massive addition to HersheyPark's coaster lineup, but let's compare it to some of the other RMCs out there just to get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Now, of the non-Raptor RMCs, Wildcat's Revenge will be 9th in length between Air Force 1 and Untamed, being about 150 feet longer than Twisted Timbers. It'll be the 9th fastest, while being tied for the most inversions and 9th in coaster height. The 82-degree drop is good for 5th between Air Force 1 and 1 degree steeper than Iron Rattler. Now keep in mind there's about 17 non-Raptor RMCs. So all in all, stat-wise, it's middle of the pack mostly, except for the inversions and degree drop, but it surpasses a lot of beloved rides like Twisted Timbers, Wicked Cyclone, and Storm Chaser in almost all the major categories. But what the ride is really going to come down to are the elements. Judging by the reveal video, 3 of the 4 inversions will be the underflip, an RMC trademark 0G stall, and a 0G roll. I would expect that last inversion to be a second 0G stall. It just makes sense, it's kind of what they usually do. Now there should be plenty of that RMC airtime. It looks like we have a couple double ups here and there. We'll see what we have going on. We have a full POV. Now it should all come together and it should all be pretty good. Also looks like there's going to be a mid-course involved. The video states that they're planning on running 3 custom trains, so a mid-course would make sense so the park can really drive capacity on this thing. HersheyPark is known for getting some pretty good crowds in the summer. The lift hill is going to be that new open style steel truss system that we've seen on rides like Iron Gwazi, and unlike something like Steel Vengeance that's all wood going up. For ride experience, it seems like it should feel like a mini Iron Gwazi. The elements seem pretty rapid and the twister layout should keep everything pretty tight with sharper transitions. Now, some of the elements do rise up, so there could be some breathing room there, but we really need to see more before we can pinpoint exactly how this is gonna ride. Now, this coaster takes probably the most ignored and forgotten ride in the park and turns it into possibly the best coaster in the state, let alone the park. Now that is a big ask, especially when Hershey boasts one of the strongest top 4 rides in any park in my opinion. Between Candemonium Skyrush, you have a combo of smooth and crazy intense hypers with airtime, along with Storm Runner, perhaps the best intimate accelerator, and the underrated Fahrenheit. Wildcat's Revenge could push the top of this park's lineup as possibly the best in the country. I'll have to dive into comparing Hershey's lineup to the likes of Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Magic Mountain to see if that's really true. But to be quality versus quantity for those parks, we'll see how it works out. Last time I matched it up with Great Adventure, and I actually had Great Adventure ahead while Jersey Devil was getting built, but I think now it's gotta be Hershey over those two. Now, this was my number 1 ask in my What's Next video for HersheyPark. I've been begging for a replacement for Wildcat, and I'm glad it's RMC coming in instead of tearing it down and building something like a B&M Flyer. I was really kinda hoping the GCI would save this as their first ride and RMC could work on Lightning Racer as a dueling coaster, but this is about as good of a consolation prize as I could ever ask for. Personally, I couldn't be more excited for this coaster to open. RMC is my favorite manufacturer, it's at one of my home parks, so that's always a personal favorite. Now, this is going to wrap up this quick look into Wildcat's Revenge for now, but there's going to be a lot more content on this coaster as details come out and as construction updates come out. So I have to apologize first before we sign off for the long layover between content and sporadic posting to my loyal followers. It's been a busy few months, but I intend on getting back on at least a bi-weekly schedule, if not back to weekly, so stay tuned. And until next time, that's all from the shores of Island Coasters.